Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from SimpleProgrammer.com. And I got a question. This is an interesting one. I've gotten some variations of this question for a while, but I've avoided answering it just because it's going to stir up some shit, but let's stir it up. This question is about degrees, and this question comes from Chris, and he says, is a degree acquired in one country worth more than a degree acquired in another country? And he says here, I live in Hungary and I want to go to a college or university in the US. Is it worth it to get a software engineering degree in the US, or should I stay here? As to where I want to work in the future is uncertain. My brothers live in the US, but my family lives in Hungary, so either is a viable option for me. So here's the thing. I don't know. I'm not going to profess to know like what degrees are more valuable in what countries, but I guarantee you that there is a difference between getting a degree, and I'm not trying to pick on anyone here, okay? But you know it if you live in India, but you know that there's a difference between getting a master's degree in something in a college or university in India versus getting one in the United States or in, let's say, England, okay? Or, you know, or a lot of other places in Europe. You know it, okay? I don't need to tell you that. It doesn't mean that the degree is worthless. Some of them are. Some degrees, you know. I was just reading a book. Again, I don't want to pick on any particular countries here, but I was reading a book where, was it? Oh, you know what it was? I think it was, You Don't Say Mr. Feynman, I think, maybe, or I can't remember the exact title, but it was Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist. You can check out the review that I did here. That's why I'm pointing there. But he was talking about going to Brazil. I think this was the book. I hope that maybe I'm mixing this story up, but no, I think he went to Brazil, and he was talking about the education. It has probably changed since then, but he was talking about how he would ask them questions. Oh, you know, maybe this is a different book. I'm trying to think. Either way, I'm just going to tell you the story, okay? So whoever this person was, he went there and he was trying to teach physics or something, and he would ask them questions, and they'd be able to verbatim give the answer to like some high-level physics question, but when he gave them a situational question that basically was applying that principle to an actual situation, they could not answer it, or they couldn't even come close to figuring it out. Even though they had all the formulas and all the details, they didn't know how to apply it. And what he said was, what he found out, he was actually giving this speech, because he was asked to speak in front of the education board or whatever, you know, university where the students were graduating, and he basically told them that their education sucked. And the reason why he said that was because that they just did rote memorization for everything. They thought they equivalated education with memorization. And so all that they tried to do was try to memorize stuff. And, you know, and actually I think it's improved. I'm sure it's improved since then, but this was way back when. But it just gives you an example, right? I'm just using this as an example. Again, I'm not picking on any particular country here, but I'm just saying that not all degrees are equal. And, you know, from talking to a lot of software developers that have come from a lot of different countries, I can kind of tell. I can tell where someone comes from if their degree, you know, what they got taught in school was very valuable or not. Now, I'm not a big fan of education, higher education in general. I feel like, you know, we're in an information age where anyone can learn information. They don't need to pay and go into debt to have a teacher tell them what they need to learn. And I don't like the system and the structure of it. I feel like it sort of confines the mind in general. But if you're going to get an education, get a quality one, right? Don't waste your time. If you're going to spend 4 years, 6 years pursuing an education, you know, make sure that the university that you're going to go to is going to be one that's actually going to teach valuable skills and that is actually going to be useful to you. I prefer that you self-educate as a software developer or go to boot camps. That's my preference. I think that that's a smarter move. Or maybe go to a community college for 2 years and then go up to a university. But keep that stuff in mind. So I would say you can kind of know, right? I'm sure there's probably some resources out there to check the levels of the universities in different countries and compare it. But in general, most of the United States universities are going to be of a higher degree than a lot of, especially a third world country. You wouldn't expect their universities to be of as high a prestige, right? So that I would keep that in mind. I would definitely keep that in mind. But at the same time, I wouldn't go like super into debt. And remember this, like ultimately, it doesn't matter what college you go to or what school you go to. It's going to be up to you're all ultimately responsible for your education. You can go to the most prestigious U.S. university and you could learn jack shit, right? You basically could, or you could just do rote memorization, just like I told you that story in Brazil, and you could have no real applicable knowledge. Okay, you could just pass the test. You could just cram just in time to pass the test, and you pass the test and you're done, and you've just gone through the motion. And that's fine if you just want to get the piece of paper, that's fine. But why waste the time? If you're going to do it well, learn. Open up the book and figure out, take it upon yourself. Yes, you got to pass the test at the end of the semester, but take it upon yourself to actually learn and to invest in your own education and make sure that you understand the stuff and that it's actually valuable to you. And that you can do anywhere in the world. You can do that. So you can take what might be a substandard school. Because some of you don't have the opportunity to go to the U.S. to go to school. I understand that, right? And so you can't afford it, or you just don't have the ability to do it. Then take what might be a substandard school in one of in the country that you're in, and make your education more rigorous. You've got the textbooks. The textbooks will probably be of decent quality, but you've got a lot of other information out there. And so figure out how you can take responsibility for your education. You're not just going to accept this crappy degree from this crappy college. You're going to make it into a really good education, and you're going to learn something from it. Because the ultimate goal is not to get a piece of paper, right? It's to learn something. That at least that's what colleges were supposed to be. It was supposed to actually be to learn something. And now I totally get that if you just want to get the piece of paper and you're going to learn on your own, that's fine. But think about those things. All right, if you like this video, I got a request for you. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And by the way, if you like my t-shirt, click on me to get your own Trust the Process t-shirt so you can remind yourself how important it is to trust the process. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.